Good afternoon. This is The Rundown, where headlines hit harder, stories go deeper, and the truth doesn't hide behind the noise. I'm Brian Taylor, and in the next few minutes, we're cutting through the clutter to bring you what matters most. Fast, clear, and unfiltered news. From power moves in politics to breakthroughs shaping our world, this isn't just the news. This is The Rundown. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think of the developments of the Diddy trial so far. We would love to hear your thoughts. And if you're curious about the gear, books, and tools we trust, check out our top picks at the Linktree in the description below. Now let's dive into the video. Viewer discretion advised. The following video contains content intended for adult audiences only. It includes discussions of graphic violence and sexually explicit acts that may be disturbing or triggering to some viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. If you are under the age of 18 or sensitive to such material, we recommend you do not continue watching. At The Rundown, we are committed to responsible journalism. To protect the integrity of this channel and its viewers, we want to make clear that any claims or statements that have not been proven in a court of law are considered alleged. All information presented in our reports is based on publicly available news already being reported by reputable media outlets. We source our coverage from credible, verified reporting to ensure accuracy and transparency in everything we share. Good afternoon, I'm Brian Taylor and this is The Rundown. We begin tonight with powerful and emotional testimony from the federal courtroom in New York, where music mogul Sean Diddy Combs stands trial on multiple charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering. Day 19 of the federal trial brought another bombshell to the courtroom as a hotel security guard testified that Sean Diddy Combs paid him $100,000 to suppress a damning surveillance video. The footage, captured in 2016 at the Intercontinental Hotel in Los Angeles, showed Combs violently assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, an incident Ventura described earlier in the trial as part of her desperate attempt to escape one of Combs' drug and sex-fueled freak-offs. Eddie Garcia, the former hotel guard, told jurors that Combs was frantic to keep the video under wraps, fearing its release would destroy his career. Garcia testified that Combs assured him he would take care of me and ultimately gave him $100,000 in cash for what he believed was the sole copy of the surveillance video. Garcia recounted how Combs' assistant, Christina Coram, first reached out to request the video just hours after the assault occurred. Though Garcia refused to release it through official channels, he eventually warned her that, off the record, it's bad. Later that evening, Garcia testified he received a direct call from Combs himself, who sounded anxious and attempted to justify his actions. After agreeing to the payment, Garcia met Combs at a private location, where he turned over the video. According to Garcia, Combs appeared relieved and even FaceTimed Cassie, instructing her to tell Garcia she wanted the video gone too. Cassie, allegedly wearing a hoodie and appearing emotionally guarded, stated that she had a movie coming out and didn't want the footage to surface. Sign a non-disclosure agreement, provide IDs for himself and two co-workers, and confirm that there were no additional copies of the video. Combs then allegedly brought out a money counter and handed over stacks of cash totaling $100,000. In the weeks that followed, Combs sent Garcia a message that read, "Happy Easter, Eddie my angel. God is good," and asked whether anyone had inquired about the tape, indicating his ongoing concern about the video resurfacing. Prosecutors have framed this hush money deal as a key piece of their racketeering case, arguing that Combs used his power, wealth, and network to cover up years of abuse and coercion. Cash, coercion, and intimidation to exert control and suppress those who might speak out. The jury also heard from Derek Ferguson, Combs' former CFO at Bad Boy Entertainment. He walked jurors through how Combs' business finances were structured and how corporate cards were allegedly used to purchase supplies for freak-offs, including massive quantities of baby oil, lubricants, drugs, and alcohol. Ferguson's testimony also supported prior witness claims about Combs using company resources to facilitate these parties. Additionally, jurors were shown wire transfers from 2011 that included a $20,000 payment to Cassie Ventura's mother, which prosecutors suggest was part of a broader pattern of extortion and control. Cassie's mother previously testified that the payment was made under pressure from Combs after he grew angry over Cassie's relationship with rapper Kid Cudi. The money was eventually returned, but not before Combs allegedly threatened to release explicit material of Cassie. Under cross-examination, defense attorneys tried to push back on the racketeering narrative, asking Ferguson if he ever saw Combs or his employees commit crimes. Ferguson said he had not, but the prosecution's point remained. The alleged crimes weren't committed in plain sight, they were buried beneath a facade of business and influence. As the trial progresses, prosecutors say a woman identified only as Jane will take the stand next. She is expected to testify for several days, and will be the third and final alleged victim to speak against Combs. The following is Jane's testimony. A former girlfriend of Combs, testifying under the alias Jane, took the stand in tears as she recounted what prosecutors allege was part of an orchestrated pattern of abuse. Jane described a series of disturbing encounters that she referred to as hotel nights. Experiences she says mirrored the now notorious freak-offs central to the government's case. According to Jane, one of the most harrowing events took place on her birthday in 2023. She testified that what began as a romantic evening out quickly turned dark when Combs reportedly surprised her with multiple escorts, women she claimed she had no prior knowledge of. Visibly shaken on the stand, Jane told the jury she felt deeply violated, especially given the context of the occasion. In a particularly chilling moment, she recalled requesting protection before engaging in any activity. What came next, she testified, was a chilling reaction from Combs. Quoting her testimony, Jane recounted Combs saying, "You better not ask for a explicit condom," words she claims were delivered with a cold stare. She stated that a condom was eventually used, but only after that tense exchange. Her breakdown on the witness stand revealed a harrowing account of the alleged manipulation and coercion that prosecutors say took place out of the public eye. Prosecutors allege these encounters were not isolated incidents but part of a broader pattern of trafficking and control. Combs, who has pleaded not guilty to all charges, remains under intense scrutiny as the trial unfolds. He has consistently denied the allegations, and his legal team insists the claims are exaggerated or entirely false. In a New York courtroom, a former employee known as Mia took the stand against Sean Diddy Combs. Mia, once Combs' personal assistant, described a pattern of sexual assault and abuse during her employment. She recounted being assaulted at his 40th birthday, and said the abuse continued for years. Mia testified she felt powerless to resist, fearing retaliation and blacklisting. She broke down in court, describing the emotional toll. Mia also witnessed alleged abuse of Cassie Ventura, including visible injuries. She described pressure to take drugs at parties and work events. The prosecution will continue questioning Mia as the trial proceeds. If convicted, Combs could face life in prison. He has pleaded not guilty. As the Diddy trial entered its third week, one of the most high-profile witnesses yet took the stand. Grammy-nominated rapper Kid Cudi, whose real name is Scott Mescudi. His testimony added a disturbing new layer to the already explosive case. Cudi testified under oath that he believed Sean Diddy Combs had been behind a Molotov cocktail attack on his Porsche in early 2012, following the end of a brief relationship with Cassie Ventura. According to Mescudi, this wasn't the only alarming incident involving the music mogul. He explained that he and Cassie had dated for a few months in 2011, after Combs had asked him to collaborate musically with her. But the relationship allegedly provoked Combs, who Cudi claimed began acting aggressively after discovering the two were romantically involved. In December of that year, Cudi said he received a panicked phone call from Cassie, who told him that Diddy had found out about their relationship. Cudi brought her to a hotel to keep her safe, but soon after a mutual friend informed him that Diddy, and another individual, had allegedly entered his home in Los Angeles. On the stand, Cudi recounted calling Diddy immediately. "Are you in my house?" he recalled asking. Diddy allegedly responded, "I'm over here waiting for you." When Cudi arrived home, he found things out of place. His security cameras had been moved, his unopened Christmas presents had been rummaged through, and his dog, which had been locked in the bathroom, appeared frightened and nervous. He filed a police report about the break-in. Then, in January 2012, Cootie said his Porsche was attacked. His dog sitter called him one day in a panic, reporting that the car was on fire. When Cootie got home, he found a hole cut into the car's roof, with signs that an explosive device had been tossed inside. Photos shown in court displayed extensive burn damage to the vehicle's interior. Although Diddy later denied having any involvement in the incident, Cootie told jurors he was convinced the music mogul was behind it. Cootie's testimony came on the same day that celebrity makeup artist Myla Morales also took the stand, detailing her fear and the physical injuries she witnessed on Cassie after an alleged assault in 2010. She described Cassie with a swollen eye, busted lip and multiple bruises after an incident at a hotel. After learning that Diddy had allegedly entered his Los Angeles residence with another man, Cootie's fears for Cassie's safety intensified. That same week, the courtroom heard disturbing new testimony that further deepened the allegations against the hip-hop mogul. George Kaplan, who served as Diddy's executive assistant at Combs Enterprises from 2014 to 2015, took the stand. Kaplan detailed the intense demands of working closely with Diddy, including 80 to 100-hour work weeks filled with travel, late-night studio sessions and constant pressure. He said Diddy frequently threatened his job, maybe monthly, with a tone that ranged from furious to, well, strangely motivational. One incident stood out. After Kaplan brought 2 half-gallon water bottles instead of a full gallon, Diddy allegedly got in his face and lashed out, reminding him he was only to be surrounded by, quote, the best. Kaplan also noted that Christina Karam, Diddy's former chief of staff, was responsible for overseeing nearly every part of Combs' day-to-day life, highlighting the level of control and structure within his inner circle. The court also heard from psychologist Dr. Dawn Hughes, who was called to explain patterns of abusive relationships. Without addressing Combs directly, Hughes explained how victims often stay with their abusers due to trauma bonds, fear of losing financial stability, or a desire to reclaim the good version of their partner. She described how abuse can be cyclical, starting with affection, escalating to violence, and then returning to a so-called honeymoon phase filled with love bombing. Hughes noted that victims often remember sensory fragments like a smell or a detail in the room more vividly than a linear series of events due to trauma's effect on memory. She also emphasized that it's common for victims to delay reporting abuse, particularly when the abuser is wealthy or influential, citing fears of not being believed or losing their support systems. Her testimony also tied into previous claims that drugs and alcohol were allegedly used by victims to numb emotional and physical pain, particularly in the context of Combs' alleged freak-offs, the sexually charged gatherings central to the federal case. Homeland Security agent Gernard Gannon provided additional insight through his testimony regarding the 2024 raid on Combs' Miami mansion. Nearly 90 federal agents participated in the search, which uncovered an arsenal of troubling items: 3 phones hidden in designer boots, a red suitcase holding a loaded handgun, and drawers stocked with numerous bottles of baby oil and personal lubricant. Agents also found MDMA, psilocybin, and other drugs, some stored in a wooden box labeled with Combs' nickname, Puffy. Back in court, a debate erupted over whether a photo of Diddy's late partner Kim Porter could be shown to the jury. Prosecutors argued against it, saying it had little relevance and might manipulate jurors emotionally, especially since Combs shares children with Porter. Meanwhile, Diddy's legal team faced resistance when they attempted to subpoena Cassie Ventura. Though the court didn't make the reasoning public, Judge Arun Subramanian rejected the motion. Prosecutors had already submitted bank records showing that Cassie's mother, Regina Ventura, wired $20,000 to Combs' company after he allegedly threatened to release a sex tape. The money was eventually returned, but the threat had already left a scar. As witness after witness takes the stand, a troubling portrait continues to unfold, one of psychological manipulation, emotional abuse, and a carefully constructed world designed to shield Combs from accountability. The courtroom remains riveted, awaiting further testimony, including that of Kid Cudi, whose connection to Cassie may have made him a target of Combs' alleged wrath. Additionally, the jury heard from hotel general manager Frederick Zemmour, who testified that Combs frequently booked rooms at his establishment. Staff had noted repeated deep cleanings after his stays due to spilled candle wax and excessive oil usage, a detail that prosecutors implied might be linked to a broader pattern of disturbing behavior. As court adjourned for the Memorial Day weekend, anticipation grew for next week's witness, Capricorn Clark, the woman who allegedly called Kid Cudi to warn him during the reported break-in. Her testimony is expected to shed even more light on Combs' state of mind and the climate of fear surrounding those close to him. Capricorn Clark, a former assistant to Sean Diddy Combs and creative director for Cassie Ventura, took the stand in a dramatic and emotional testimony. Clark described a harrowing pattern of control, abuse, and intimidation that stretched over more than a decade. She recounted being forced to take polygraph tests for 5 days straight after Combs accused her of losing jewelry and being threatened by the examiner. Clark was fired in 2012 for not telling Combs about Cassie dating Kid Cudi, losing her job, health insurance, and 401k. She testified to witnessing Combs violently attack Cassie, warning Clark not to intervene. Clark also described being terrified as Combs threatened violence against Kid Cudi, forcing her to comply with his orders. She claimed she was asked to obtain drugs for Combs, both illegal and prescription. Working under Combs was relentless. Clark worked from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. for only $55,000 a year, leading to severe anxiety and hair loss. Her testimony painted a picture of violence, coercive control, and a toxic environment where fear ruled the day. Whether these incidents can be tied to a broader criminal enterprise remains to be seen, but Clark's testimony added disturbing depth to the case against Sean Combs. The courtroom also heard testimony from Mila Morales, a celebrity makeup artist who worked closely with Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. Morales described a troubling event that allegedly occurred during the 2010 Grammy Awards weekend at a party held at the Los Angeles estate of the late music icon, Prince. She stated that after attending the party, she and Cassie went back to their hotel room. Suddenly Combs burst in, aggressively demanding, "Where the F is she?" before shutting the door behind him. Morales testified that she heard yelling and screaming from inside the room. She claimed Combs physically assaulted Cassie, leaving her with a swollen eye, a busted lip, and visible bruises on her head. The makeup artist described Cassie as distraught in the aftermath. Morales helped pack Cassie's bags, and the two reportedly stayed at Morales's house for several days to recover. Morales said a doctor friend examined Cassie and recommended a hospital visit, but Cassie refused to seek further medical help or report the incident to the authorities out of fear of Combs. Morales also revealed that she has spoken publicly about the incident in interviews, and even sold some photos documenting Cassie's injuries to news outlets. This testimony added another layer to the troubling picture of abuse and intimidation surrounding Combs and those close to him. As the trial progressed, attention shifted between the complex dynamics of Combs' relationships and the potential legal ramifications stemming from these allegations. Check out our other videos on the channel about the Diddy trial for the testimony of Cassie and other trial updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.